Everybody, it's Eric. I'm making a game. That game, lovingly coded in Unity, is called the Godkiller. And, sometimes I hear music in my head. I hear music. I don't know, like, if you can hear it too, or if it's just me. But I definitely hear music at times, and it gives me ideas. I think, maybe I'll go out into my neighborhood and I'll knock on people's doors, and they'll open that door, and they'll see me, and I'll say, you don't know me, but I care about you, and I want you to have a good life. How can I help you? Maybe they're not comfortable with that. Maybe they don't know how to accept my help. That's all right. They can turn me away. That's fine. But later on, I'll come back. And they're sleeping at night. And I'll mow their lawn. It'll be a secret. Okay, so I think that's probably not a good idea. I think that's probably not a good idea at all. Problem is, when you get that music playing in your head, it makes you think like it's all a good idea, whatever stupid shit you come up with. And it's a big problem. Because there's like arsonists out there that got that music in their head, and there's like, there's genocidal maniacs that get that music going in their head. And then you've got the flip side of that problem is some people have got actually pretty good ideas, but then they've got music like this playing in their head. I have good ideas, I think. Oh, maybe not. So, if we could really fix the world so that the quality of the music playing in people's heads matched the quality of the ideas that were in their heads, it would be golden. So, anyways, I'm going to get to a demo next. I'm pretty happy about the demo. Then I'm going to do some work on the game. Okay? And if you're just joining for the first time, these sessions, these streams, for the time being, they always follow the same format. Some random nonsense at the beginning, and then I do a demo of my game, and then I work on my game. And you may like 0, 1, 2, or 3 of those things, and you can participate in whichever of those things bring you the best experience. Let's go to demo. Demo time. All right. Also, it's fucking hot. I gotta turn my fan back on. And the music that I played was not my own. It came, I have to do this for Creative Commons reasons and also moral reasons. It came from the first one, the beautiful inspirational piano thing. That was from a Freesound user named TicTac9, and he has asked that his studio be credited. And I'm waiting for Freesound to load up that. It is Galaxy Productions. Okay, so I will also link to this clip and the user inside of the video description on both Twitch and YouTube after I get done streaming. And then the other one was a circus theme from Rob Crow 6010 on Freesound, and he did not have any specific instructions on how he should be credited, so I can only give his handle, which I actually find to be a shortcoming of Freesound, but that's another story. I love Freesound though. Freesound's a wonderful website. All right, so I got deep into something yesterday. Made me very excited and also frustrated. It was a lovely combination of a very difficult problem with excellent results. So I've never written shader code before. Yesterday I took the shader source code from a third-party asset called FlatKit, and that code just drew a black outline around different game objects. It's a pretty good shader. I'm actually happy that I found it because it gave me a good starting example for how to use a post processing shader instead of a material based shader. And I had one issue with it, which was that the line weight was the same for objects that were close or far. So I learned about shaders. I learned about camera depth buffers. I learned about converting to iSpace parameters that are inside of that depth buffer. Anyways, I got deep into it and it felt cool. Just all this power. And then there's a really strange way of debugging shaders. You don't get to console log or debug log. You don't get to step through the code. I guess there might be something like that in the newer version of Visual Studio. But really, I guess the main debugging technique you have is to visualize the data in the output of the shader itself. And that sounds horrible to me at first, but the nice thing about shader development is you see the results real fast. Like it's like less than a second. It compiles and it's on your card, and the output of it just changes immediately. So it's kind of a interesting. It's an interesting experience because most programming you write a bunch of code and then you hit the play button or you execute the program and then you maybe do things to see the result you want. Shader is just pure input and output, and on a modern computer the compilation is so fast you just see it instantly. So all I do is make a few changes in the code and then I command tab over to Unity and bam, it's like already there, it's already working. So anyways, let's demo. I keep talking, I mean to demo. The thing I'm going to call attention to is the outline here is of a certain thickness, but far away I got these lines down here to be of a thin, and this particular scene doesn't let me go up higher than this. I didn't build enough stuff for me to keep walking up higher, but if I get just a little bit higher up, the lines actually disappear, so that if there's just some background stuff that's really, really far away, the lines are just completely gone from it. And it works. So I'll walk around a little bit and you can see what's up. This actually looks a lot better when I'm not broadcasting because I can get a higher resolution and the lines look a lot better at a higher resolution. So I started out with material-based shaders that gave it a cartoon look. I entirely got rid of them last week and replace them with this single post-processing outline shader, it's really made me happy. I think that's the way to go. If anybody said I wanted to do a cartoon look in my game, I'd say just screw most of the assets you'll find on the store and all the examples that have you pulling the vertexes out from the main mesh. It's a very artificial and artifact prone method of getting the outline look. Some problems with it are you'll only see a silhouette outline. So it was bothering me so much that I couldn't have a line on edges like this, which are not a silhouette. The other problem I had was, because with the material-based approach, it uses these vertexes that are pulled out and have like a simulated black outline. For some types of geometry, you'll see little gaps in it, particularly at the corners. These egg spheres, they looked a mess. There was like you had to like squint your eyes to see it as a proper outline. And this stuff looks weird up here right now. I'm just going to come out and say it looks weird. I know why it looks weird. Okay. So there's a few things left for me to do here. I need the line width to scale based on the screen width, or the viewport width, I should say. I had that working at yesterday morning, then I did some other shader work and I kind of lost that scaling. In this session I'm going to bring the scaling back. And then I'm also going to add some of my parameters that are currently inside of the shader as constants in the tweakable variables in the inspector. I'll get all this stuff together today in this session, and I'll come up with a screen resolution independent method of showing the line thickness and some nice tweakable properties. I'll just kind of get them set up in the best possible way, and that's what I'll do for this session. Just put the finishing touches on this outline shader, which is a bit of a collaboration between myself and the authors of Flat Kit. In other news, Isak has taken the concept art that I sent him for the bystander 3D models, and he's working on some new meshes, some new character models for those. Looking forward to seeing the results of those. The bystander model, let me see if I can switch over to it real quick. Oh, by the way, here's an example of what shader debugging looks like. So if there's one variable that you want to know what's inside of it, it's being calculated for each pixel, you find some way to get just that variable represented in the pixel and just leave out all the other information. So that's what I was doing here. There was one variable that was supposed to be a value between 0 and 1, which represented let me not say it exactly. It represented a depth distancing value. Yeah, I get caught up in saying exactly what things are sometimes, and there's no reason to. So I was just debugging that one variable, and at first, before I got the pattern and how to do it, I got the technique, it was really troublesome because I kept on just wanting to know what number is in that variable. And in some ways, it's actually more useful to see this visual view, because you think about how much information is being shown to you here. It's saying for every pixel, and there's, let me think, there would be, something like 1,000 times maybe 700. Okay, 700,000, it may be close to 1,000,000 pixels are being calculated by the shader. For you to set a breakpoint on each of those, or to debug log them all out, what a pain in the ass that would be to process that. But here you can see instantly, okay, up here all the values are close to 1, which is white, and down here all the values are close to 0, and you can see all the edges, what that value is and how it ramps up from 0 to 1. So it's really a wonderful paradigm shift in troubleshooting code, and it didn't come to me right away, but midway through the day it did, and I felt ecstatic. I really felt happy, like I was cracking open a mystery of the universe or something. It was really, really fun. Okay, bystander concept art, and this one actually I worked on this with Davey, who was on the chat a little bit. He actually gave me some good ideas. Davey Sleeves, you can see the remains of his chats up above. We just kind of thought about like some different science fiction movies, and they had examples of clothing in it, and I just dropped a few examples as a guide, and sent this off to Isak. I gave him a lot of latitude on the design, and some of the previous ones I was a little more specific. I draw like some sketches like this, and he matched this stuff real good actually. But in this one I thought, just let him run wild a little bit, see what he comes up with. He's a very creative guy. He came up with this original model, which is for sale on the asset store, and you can mix and match clothes and head coverings for this model, shoes, different types of shoes. And when I saw this original model, I realized like you could take that and you could make a crowd of women with it by just using different combinations of accessories and options that he had put there. So what I'm aiming to get from him is 2 new models that have that similar variations and different options you can do for the models, and then I'll just change the different combinations of settings around and be able to generate crowds of people, basic NPC type characters that don't attack you or anything. They're there to move the story along, or just to show that a place is populated. That's what they're there for. So he's in progress on that. And let's close this stuff down. This is my screenshot of what it looks like when the lines are well sized for the resolution that they're in. I'm hoping that by the end of this session I can get Unity to look as good as that. Should be possible. Okay. It's time to work. It's time to make progress. Progress must be made every single day. It's the law. All right. So, what are the things to do? think I want to move some parameters into here. They're currently constants inside the shader. I want to get this code working again. It was doing some screwy stuff. Kind of wondering, like, am I going to have a number of things besides this outline script that need to change with the screen size handler? I think I know what I want to do with this that would be a lot better. So the thing that's bugging me is the separation of concerns. So here I've got a property called outline width %, and it really is something that would make more sense to put inside the outliner. So I think I'll make a notification interface that outliner implements, and then screen size handler will just, in a very ignorant way, a very insulated way, it will call the notification interface on outliner whenever the screen size changes, and outliner will have this property appear for what percentage of the screen width should be used for thickness, and it will perform the update as opposed to screen size handler performing the update. I think that's the way to do it. And then if I get other things in the future that also need to do something in response to the screen size changing, I will have the screen size handler call a notification interface on those as well. That's what I'll do first on this project, on this session. Okay, so screen size handler, there's that. Let's see, let's create an interface. Call it I. What do you call the receiver of a notification? A notifee? I don't think that's right. No. Screen size change. Subscriber. I'm not really doing subscription though. Let's see. Receiver. It's a very long name. How about screen size receiver? Okay. So then we'll say it has to implement, public void on screen size changed. Since I already have the width and height, I might as well pass it to them. The interfaces don't need the access modifiers. Okay. So then I go to outliner CS and I say screen size receiver. It complains that I haven't implemented the interface, but I can. That's no problem. Yeah. Okay. To do some stuff. Alright. So I'm here. I know this stuff works fine. By the way, I can move all this over to outliner. Yeah, I can hide the thickness. So I feel like this could be a float and things would be better. But you know, this is getting into sweater thread territory. Let's just say and okay. Delete that. Don't need this. Oh, we do need that. Delete that. So for now, it's just outliner, screen size changed, width, height. Should these be ints? Yes, they should. Okay. That will pretty much do it. Get rid of some of this. Okay. That's probably good there. Okay, let me see. How do I want to handle the rest of this? So I can make thickness a private. I feel like it should be a float too. I don't think that hurts anything at all. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I should make this my own a little bit. So let's see. Oh, properties. Alright, so this is the binding between, well, it's not actually the binding, but it looks up all the shader properties here and gets their IDs so that a function down below can update. Let's see, shader properties. It would be super weird if this ever got more than 10% of the screen width. Like, I kind of don't even want to see it when it gets that high. So 0.1f would be 10% of the screen width. In practice, it should be much smaller than that. I don't even know if this is necessary here. I'm going to leave it for now. Okay. Alright. So let's try that. Let's try that. A few more stylistic things. This is kind of like popping bubble wrap. It's hard for me not to do it. But it doesn't really do anything that improves my life or makes me particularly happy. I decided recently I don't like the use of the word private because it's just a default. And I prefer things to be more concise. Did I get them all? Did I pop all the bubbles in the bubble wrap? I did. Okay. Save that. Let's see what breaks. See, this is the thing I like about shaders. They're so fast. Like that. Okay, that's not doing anything though. Yeah, that's not actually doing anything. Let me see. Does this get called? Oh, is it hold on. I suspect I need to, if I want this to do something in the editor, I should add a execute always. Then my update will get called. Should say this. This isn't really true. It doesn't need to be a component of the camera. It could be any place. It's just that I'm relying on it to be a component of the camera so that I can get the outliner, which is on the camera. Let's do something a little bit different here. I accidentally typed Jew in my code. like I'm an anti-Semite. The Jews are in my code. Let's see, new list. Is this going to be a new list or a Jew list? Because I saw that movie by Steven Spielberg about the Jew list. Okay. This feels like slightly gold plating, but I'll allow it. I will allow it. List I. So I'm almost certain I'm gonna have to write more than one of these things. Okay, so I screen size receiver. And receivers. Receiver list. Okay. Find object of type outliner. There. Is that how it works? Find object of type. Yeah. Okay, so I could also cast it or add it directly. So we'll say list screen. No, you don't like that, huh? Okay. There we go. Okay, I think that's an improvement. Then inside of outliner, I've got that breakpoint set. Let's go ahead and build it again. Oh yeah, now it's getting a little bit silly over here. Cool, I like it. So sometimes in the editor you miss the wake the wake event. So I'll do a thing like inside of notify receivers, I'll say if receivers equals null, just fix them up again. And then since that code is there, okay, here I can just call that. And I think I might as well set a breakpoint here too. And save that. No, don't like that. Okay. Okay, so this is like way too thick, and I want to set the top range of this to be something close to almost being acceptable but not quite. So if I go up to maybe, I don't think I would ever set it this high. So let's say 0.02. Set this as a default to that. So now that the range is a little tighter, it's easier for me to drag the slider and get different results. So let me get down a little bit more. So right there it's jumping quite a bit between those two. I'll try hand editing. Wow. So between 6 and 7 it hops up and down quite a bit. 5, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, there's probably some casting to an int going on somewhere. Thickness, where are you at? No, it's all float. Oh, I've got this new thickness less than 1 thing. Hey, let's just take that out. See what that does. That's kind of weird. No, that's not it. So interesting. Just the difference between 6.1 and 6 is that. Huh. It might be the nature of the shader code that it needs that. Okay. Yeah, here it's looking super thick. So I've decided that I'm okay with some discrepancies between the scene view and the game view, but I really would prefer not to have them. I don't know, it just might be that this resolution is so low that it's hard for it to render with nice lines, because it looks really great when I do it in proper high resolution. let me get some debug log on this. Oh, there's got to be... Okay, hold on. Come back up here. Yeah, okay. This is the problem. So, it's not... Okay. That's my issue. Float. And... Okay, this should be a lot better. Okay, so now I can do gradations. Okay, but let me do it with the game view. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. All right, so if I shrink it in, is it still gonna look all right? It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. But no lighting. Get rid of that. Okay. It's not bad. Okay, let's do it with play mode. Still looking okay. A little bit thick, if I'm honest. Yeah, it's a little thick. I set the color of the edge with some transparency because I don't have anti-aliasing. Anti-aliasing, it's a little bit tricky with a shader. It's easier to do it when you're not calculating in the context of one pixel, but you're just saying here's where I'm going to draw the anti-aliasing. So that's why it's kind of got that marker look to it. Like when you got a marker and it's sort of a flat, translucent color. That's kind of what it looks like. These lines, these big thick lines. So they really look better if I get them thinner. unplay. I think I'm going to set this range even tighter. So that's way too much. That's too much. That's starting to be okay. So if I set it tighter, I can use this slider much more readily. Weird. So I hit play and suddenly it looks a lot different in line thickness. It looks super, super thick when I hit play. And I don't understand it. Super thick. What if I shrink this down a little bit? No? Okay, a thought occurs to me. Screen width might not be the correct measurement to use. Here's why. Suppose I move this left to right. You can see in the interior that the objects aren't getting larger or smaller. The aspect ratio is changing. But okay, what about this way? The stupid bar is preventing me from clicking the bottom of this to drag it. There we go. Okay, so if I go up or down, that actually changes the size. It seems like the size of the scene is really dependent on the screen height as opposed to the width. Is that true for all aspect ratios though? So if I go this way, yeah, it does seem to be true that way too. Okay, so I'm changing my code to be based on the height of the screen instead of the width. Okay, what will that do? Okay, let's try that. Check the scene view real quick. Hey, the scene view is actually looking more consistent with the game view now. That's a good sign. That's a real good sign. I'm going to go up a little bit more thicker. Oh. Okay. Play. See what it looks like. Now we're in business. Height is the way to go. I'm noticing this line here has got just a little bit of gap in between the black line and the edge of the surface. So I may want to increase the thickness a tiny bit. It does look on the thin side already. Yeah, it looks a little thin. Cool. But it's pretty consistent between the three views, which makes me super happy. Let me see if I can, reproduce that little gap there. I can see that gap. Okay. So I'll drag it over a little bit. It seems like the game view gets updated quicker. Okay, I come with the game view and I slide this, it updates right away. Okay, let's make it look a little bit thick. Not crazy thick. That's too thick. Too thick. That's not bad. There's something going on where it feels like maybe the interior lines are thicker than they should be. And the silhouette lines would be nicer if they were a little thicker. I'm not going to worry about it too much because I know that when I get this going in a higher resolution off stream without the constraints of broadcasting, the line weight is pretty even. So I have gotten some device independence here, and that was my main goal. Not device independence, but resolution independence. So this would look okay on like a laptop at 1920 by 1080 type resolution. And it would also look really nice, and I've seen it, on a big old iMac or 4K type thing. These spikes here, I've noticed they seem to be lacking smoothing. I may add the smoothing back into those spikes. These spikes over here I applied smoothing to. They look a lot better. Let me go fix the smoothing on those spikes. This is not hard to do. So what smoothing does is it makes all these coarse polygons look like a smooth continuous surface. So if you look at this one that I smoothed, even though the mesh is still low poly, when you look at the surface itself, how light reflects off of it, it looks smooth. And I think I can just keep doing that for all these other spikes. And it's gonna make this look a whole lot better. So what I'm doing is specific to Pro Builder, which is an asset you can add for free to your Unity project, and it will allow you to model objects inside of Unity instead of like a different program like Blender or 3ds Max or whatever. Now, it's not the very best modeler, but it does work pretty well. It's quite good for prototyping or games that are very geometrical, like mine. Don't need a lot of natural surfaces and realistic surfaces. There's another game I'm quite a fan of. I haven't actually played it yet. I've only just seen it, and it's just it's a weird thing to say you're a fan of a game you haven't played. But I'm a fan of the look of it. It's called Manifold Garden, and it is modeled within Pro Builder as well, although the developer, William Cheer, has many other tools that are custom and proprietary to his engine that aid in creating scenes with Pro Builder. So if you look at his work on Manifold Garden and you say, oh, I'm going to make stuff just like him, well, you should also write a whole bunch of constructive solid geometry routines and stuff like that. Me, I'm kind of in the same boat, not nearly as accomplished in my results as William Cheer and Manifold Garden, but yeah, I've got code that's helping me out in different places. I mean, you saw that shader that I'm tweaking with now. I've got a lot of procedural generation stuff, which is not even showing in the current level. I just haven't bothered to add it in because it tends to slow down my play and edit cycles. But anyways, yeah, Pro Builder, good stuff. Not for every situation, but recommended for some. Okay, so these guys, I think in order for them to pop in with the new spikes, I need to update them. Okay, so where are you? Where are you? Just where are you? Okay, Axel. There, now they're smooth. This one, same deal. Smooth. Alright. Save all that. And we hit play again. And that's looking pretty good to me. This is basically the low resolution test right here. Running at 1920 by 1080 in the broadcast. And here the spikes look a lot better. Yeah, it's a little bit of weirdness with the outline as your different points of view. But all in all, it looks pretty good. And on high resolution, it looks real good. Real good. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next thing, which is putting some of the constants that I have in the shader in uniform variables that are bound to the inspector. Okay, so here's what the shader code looks like. I can clean out some of this debug stuff since I don't really need it anymore. There's not a lot of code here, to be honest. For all it does, there's just not much there, which is kind of neat. Makes me happy. Okay, some more uniforms. Let's see. I'll even do this, and this, and this. Nah. Just leave that, that's fine. So then I can come over to here and add these in. It's actually kind of a nice thing to have these properties for another reason besides tweaking while designing. It may make sense to adjust them for different levels. So there could be a level where the outlines far down below actually look kind of good. Then I could pump this up to 300, so it's nice to be able to set it. This might be kind of fun to play with. Kind of looking forward to this next part. Alright, so let's see if I broke it. Did I break it? I'll probably have to play this by quite a bit. Okay, what was my original values I put in there? 0 and 30, okay. There we go. So if I want the line weight to change a huge amount as it gets closer, then I set this up higher. My max depth meters was 30. Wow. It's not a lot. Alright, so that makes it real chunky up top. I can also bring it down this way. Does seem to be a little bit all or nothing. set this back to... let's do some stupid values just for fun. So 8. Yeah, that's not that good. So let's go back down to 2. 2. Okay. Okay, coming up pretty close on victory here, I think. That's a pretty nice look. Actually, I think that's real nice. Nah, it feels like it's got to be a little bit thicker. I don't know. This looks real cool up here. These edges. Looks good. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I like. So this line is definitely thicker here. I think this is the right setting. Yeah, I think this is it. I'm just going to leave it like it is right here. It's looking good. The thing that's kind of neat about this is you can actually make music by playing the game. You can just kind of fuck around a little bit. So. Anyways. Alright. That's a stream. I did what I said I was going to do. Let it be known. Let the record state. The things I said I would do, I did them. The mission was accomplished. The stream must end. And the hero must go get drunk on vodka and watch some TV. Alright. See y'all later.